Y'all ready to get started?
Yep.
Middle Tennessee hosted the rodeo this past year, and they did this great video, so we were gonna show it. It shows a good view of the grounds and everything pretty much about it. And then we'll answer questions after that. Sound good?
Unbelievable.
We're gonna see.
We work in one of the most hazardous and potentially dangerous jobs in the world. This job attracts a certain breed. Deep down, a lot of us love the brush. The moment when a storm is at its worst and the public counts on us to fix a massive outage. In storm emergencies like hurricanes or tornadoes, everyone wants to know when will the lights be back on.
On behalf of the Tennessee Valley Lineman Rodeo Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome you to the 2025 Tennessee Valley Lineman Rodeo. We have 248 participants from about 40 different utilities. A special thanks to Middle Tennessee Electric for hosting us. I'd like to introduce the CEO, Mr. Chris Jones.
Thank you, and welcome everybody. It's so good to see you. This is a time about recognizing some very special people, and that of course are our linemen, and for the incredible work that they do. This is a showcase for them to demonstrate their skills and abilities. It's an opportunity for camaraderie. The rodeo allows them to build on relationships. It allows them to get better at the important trade that they do.
Yeah,
For all of us who are, whether it's family members or we're customers or co-workers, we know what they do. And they're out there no matter what the elements are to restore power, to serve our members or serve our customers. And so we're very proud of all of them. We hope you guys have a wonderful time. It's a competition. There'll be no problem getting the competitive juices flowing. Have fun, enjoy yourself, be safe, and do good.
And with that, I'll say that the competition begins.
Pride. Out in the field, pride runs deep. Surrounded by chaos and devastation, we push ourselves beyond normal limits. We're a tight-knit group that has each other's backs. We take pride in being tough, skilled, and fast. When one of us gets hurt on the job, it hits the whole brotherhood hard. Take the time and do it right the first time, and be patient. We can take pride in being the ones who keep the lights on and the ones who look out for each other's safety. Stay safe, brothers. Let's make sure we can all get to live to tell these stories when we hang up our hooks for the last time.
We thought that was a good video. It kind of showed, you saw the grounds.
When I saw that.
Yes, it does, because he was one of the people that got us involved in it first, so.
So how many people do they say participate? They say in there.
Around 250 participate, and then we have about 100 volunteers and about 100 judges. So overall, it's probably gonna bring about 500 people just for the judges, the volunteers, and the participants, not to mention all the other people that come from the utility. So we're looking at about
Spouses
5.
and things.
It's a family event.
It
They bring
is.
their families and the utilities to bring some of their own people
Yep.
to watch their team participate.
And it's a 3-day event. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday. Everybody sets everything up, and they do a golf tournament on Thursday, which we're going to host at Blackberry. Then Thursday night, they do a family night and vendor night at the event location where all the competitors come. They swap T-shirts and they have music, and it's just, you know, kind of a family thing. And then competition is Friday and Saturday, so.
Banquet Saturday.
And banquet Saturday night, yep.
And award ceremony at
Yes,
the banquet.
yes. So usually about 1,000 people at the banquet on Saturday night.
Wow.
Yep.
At the conference center.
So that's the rodeo. So we started this process probably, by the way, if y'all don't know Jimmy Thompson, this is Jimmy Thompson. He's one of our foremen, and he's been involved with the rodeo for probably, probably one of our first competitors.
Yeah, I was with Sam when we started it.
You were out
Yes.
there when I came and took some pictures of them practicing, weren't you, that day, a couple
I
of months
think
ago?
so, yes, sir.
When y'all were out,
Mhm.
I just happened upon y'all.
Y'all may have noticed him, he's,
I judged. man.
Yeah, he was in the video.
and then Billy Williamson was in several of those shots on the pole,
Mhm.
and of the journeyman, he
He
finished
finished
Yeah.
seventh.
7th overall in the
Like, so
journeyman.
y'all,
this year.
y'all got placed down, what, on Circular Drives, Circle? Isn't that where y'all?
Cypress Mill Road is where
Cypress.
our
Yeah.
Oh,
training
that-
facility is, which is where they practice. for
Just
the
past
road.
hit it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the facility they got over across from Calhoun is, who operates that?
Calhoun Community College actually operates that. I'm pretty sure.
It's a climbing school.
It's a climbing school. Yep. So we started this process probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we first person I called was the mayor and told him about it, and then we had a utility committee meeting, and at the request of Dick Jordan was a request not to have it at McFarland. So since then we have looked at other options, not having it at McFarland. So River Heritage is basically the only other option that we have.
What was his
Diver
reason
Park-
for not having it that far enough? I don't recall that.
Fishing.
Well, that's just what Dick's made that
Dick
decision.
Dick never wanted anything in the farm that interfered with fishing. But, as I told you, I regret that the Park and Rec Committee was not involved in this from the get-go. Because I think we could have worked through that some way
Change
or
that.
the other. And God rest him, I don't mean to speak ill, but, Dick just was real contrary about McFarland Park. God rest his soul, he's not here to fight the battle today.
I know,
So,
I know.
I talked to you already about this, in my opinion, it seems to me the most sensible place to do it is McFarland Park.
We don't disagree. We don't
You got
disagree.
shaded area down there, you got two big areas where you put all those poles. And, I know it's not convenient for the participants, because not all of them gonna stay at the Renaissance though, but, the ones that do stay there, it'll be convenient for them, but I think for spectators, you'll have a way much more room at McFarland.
We don't disagree with you.
Okay.
That's why it was our preferred location
Well, it's not too
originally.
late to change it.
Well, here's our issue with that.
Well, Bill told me he can handle the permit.
So I
This
spoke
guy
with
told me
TVA
he
this
could handle the
morning,
permit.
and TVA told me this morning, and Alan South said he'd be happy to get on a call if y'all would like to have a conversation with Alan South, with TVA, that, they have to apply for us for a NEPA permit to have it at, McFarland, which is like an environmental study for the federal government. So that is time consuming, and it's a large expense for TVA, because what they have to do is the area that we host it in, they have to do like soil samples, so many soil samples for the location we're hosting it in. And so, TVA said they would, but they can't guarantee that they would have it back by June.
Well, see, Bill's guy told him, and this is Bill telling me this, the guy he dealt with at TVA says he can make it happen. So,
I don't know who he's talking to.
this is the same guy, I think, that he dealt with on other projects, or
Derek
this
South.
project, or some project, I don't know.
Well, now,
Well, if he would like to
especially
reach
since we've
out
been
to
approved
him.
for both the pier and the other, I don't know if it has to be. Obviously.
Have they, so y'all have submitted permits already for those projects?
That's right.
If y'all, like I said, we would prefer McFarland.
Oh, yeah.
If we could make that work out, but we've got to know, honestly, we really need to know by November, really August, because we'll start advertising, they'll start advertising, and we've got to start making plans
Why
now
don't
for
we do
everything.
this? Why don't we get the wheels in motion, like today? And tell Bill, whoever this is he's talking to get on it today, pronto. And if he can't get it done by November, then it is what it is. And just stay where you are. I'm not saying tell the person that approved whatever over there that you're not gonna do it there. Just keep that site until you're ready to start advertising it or making it known where it's gonna be, and let him get to work on making McFarland work. So,
And we really foresee in the future, them wanting to bring it back to
I
Florence.
think this will be something,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, McFarland's beautiful, it's well
I hope
kept.
they do, because,
It'd possibly be in a rotation every 5 years or so.
yeah,
probably.
because, you know, we got big things about to happen down in McFarland, you know, revamping that whole park, so what part of the park were you thinking in McFarland?
So I think the only spot we've looked at is where the old driving range is.
Right, that's what I was thinking, and what about the soccer field, is it not?
Well, they didn't want us to use a soccer field because we have to set the poles.
Right. But that
You know, about
driving
a
range
month
is
in
perfect
advance.
to me, because you see it from the road, and driving
Now,
down.
we
We
will
just-
we will have to stay probably on the south side of the ditch. And one thing we will have to check with TBA is that 161 line puts off a stack.
Mhm.
You have to stay a certain distance.
Now,
away
does it go right across the driving range?
It's,
Right there, close to the road,
Yeah.
closer to the road.
So we just need to be sure we stay.
Back that way.
we're gonna have to do some measurements. We're gonna have to
Yeah.
get some, because
Yeah.
we don't need
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to get.
They won't come back if
No,
that
they wouldn't
happens.
come back. I mean, when we work on our 44 line, I mean,
Yeah.
they get it from the 44 line, so that's something we're gonna
I
have.
guess what I would ask, and you know, my concern was, like I said, I have not seen the River Heritage. I just haven't seen that. Is let's work with all of our departments and see if we can, I mean, what I'm hearing you say is this will be something for the future. Let's try to make it the best one out there and use our, you know, resources to take it up a notch. I mean, I guess my thinking, and since I hadn't been there to know how it works, is that would be a perfect opportunity. You might have food trucks down there. or,
We
you
will,
know,
so,
Is
you
the
might
area
have some-
where we do the concerts, is it, you couldn't do it there, that's right on the water side?
That's what I was wondering, down at that beach area it's so visible from the water and the bridge. Is it large enough down there?
it's not large enough. It's, I mean, we can, and we've talked about, I mean, we would like to have it sitting on the water. We think that'd be wonderful. When we had it in Clarksville, it was on the water. When it was in Chattanooga, it was on the water. It was really nice, but
We need to use
We just
this
need a
as
space.
as a town to showcase for
Yeah,
us.
you do.
Well,
Oh, absolutely.
And like I'm thinking is, you got opportunities for music too. I mean, maybe.
well, we
that-
do. We will have music Thursday night. That's the family night. There will be live music that night, and there'll be food trucks the whole entire event. And so, yes, I mean, you're exactly right. It's I mean, it's just a great fun event. I mean,
Well,
we
have you
hope
looked at
everybody
that
comes.
beach site where they do the concerts and everything?
We
You looked at
have.
it? Just not big
We'll
enough?
just have to go back and
Do some
Mhm.
measurements.
do some measurements to see if it could be.
Yeah, I was thinking the
Space
driving
wide.
range would be better for parking like we do at 4th of July. The one thing that we would have to be careful with, because you said it's in June, correct?
Mhm.
And it's
Fifth and
60
Fifth and
holes, 60 holes, right?
Something like that.
So we got 4th of July within a month, and now
Yeah.
we've got areas
Now
that's not
that,
gonna have
that
grass.
site realistically will probably be the same way as River Heritage with NEPA. We'll have to, when we dig the holes, we have to save the dirt. The same dirt has to go back into those holes. And then at the very top, you know, you might put just a small layer of sand and that grass will just run back to it.
Yeah, my concern is I would want us to prepare for 4th of July in case it rains on the 4th of July. We got all those people down there that it's not just dirt.
Yeah.
You know, we'd have to
Yeah.
straw or sand or
Which we can do
something.
Or cut a
But-
piece of sod and lay in the top.
Yeah, something that the TVA would allow us to
Yeah,
do.
and that's
but-
something they would have to approve.
We all know what works, but yeah, it'd be good to at least revisit that site and see if you could,
Yeah.
if it would work there. If it don't, then the driver's range would be there.
But we still have, in my opinion, to keep the permit valid in case it, unlikely event that McFarland floods, you gotta have a backup location, because you can't change your day, right?
No, and we have to set the poles about a month in advance,
Yeah,
so it's
so
gonna
we-
have to be.
Yeah, yeah, so we, you know, if we can keep both permits in play, if that's the case.
And if we can't have it at McFarland this year, that's what we thought, you know, we could go ahead and apply, so if, you know, 5 years from now, when it rolls around again, we would have it ready for
Well, I'm just basing off what Bill told me on the moving it, go back to McFarland. he acted like his guy told him that he could handle it, so, and it wouldn't take long. That's just what he told me. Don't shoot the messenger.
And I'm just,
It wouldn't
I'm
take-
That'd be good. That's just not what we're hearing from
Yeah.
our side of TVA,
Well,
yeah.
y'all, I know y'all got two different people y'all are talking to, but Bill claims that his guy can get it done, so.
all I'm asking for is let's ramp up the communication among departments and let's do this bigger and better if we can. And I just think this is a wonderful opportunity. I mean, I don't know, what kind of funds will flow through here, but my guess is there'll be a lot of money spent in our community over,
They'll be
you're
here.
saying 3 days or
Four
probably
nights.
4 days.
Yeah, they'll be here about
They'll be
4
here
nights.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we can get Rob to run us some projections based on the head count, if we haven't already. Have y'all
We-
done that?
We have, and then we're looking at about $1.1 million economic impact for the 4 days. Mhm.
That's great.
We have had multiple conversations with Bill about this. We will reach out to him again and see if he can pull some strings, and I'll reach out to my person and see if he can pull some
If
strings.
they could talk to each other.
Well, it's the same
TVA.
person. They're talking to the same person.
Oh.
So Derek South is the land management person for our area, and that's who we all have to go through in order to use any of TVA properties, so. Mhm.
Well, they've really been working closely over this, the pier and campground because they're really picky, especially with, when you're talking about, and that's the NEPA, is that the,
That's the federal agency.
the National Native Americans.
Environmental Protection Agency.
I sent Bill a text and told him to get with his guy like immediately today and see what the story is.
Now, I
So,
think we will have to give him this specific site
will.
down there where
And
the
we
poles are
will.
gonna be, cause they
Have to give them a drawing.
have to give them a drawing.
Yeah.
So
Because we
did y'all already have that in the past?
Well, we had a drawing, this is what we had to submit to TVA for River Heritage. So we had to submit that to TVA, well, it's not actually. But this is what we had to submit to River Heritage.
I think that's touchscreen, isn't it?
It may be touchscreen. And I don't know the password, so,
neither do I.
Yeah.
but, you got it.
Da 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 da.
Perfect. You don't need to put it in, you got it. Well, I
You can't be telling how.
well, no, it has to be punched in there, yeah.
I'll let you.
It's such a secure location, can't be telling.
Thank you.
Now, if McFarland work out, I think McFarland's beautiful, it's well kept, it's good and flat.
And
There's a
that
lot
wa-
of families there, kids.
That was the first choice, when this whole thing started.
It's,
See, I never
That's
even
where we
knew y'all
prefer
were
to
talking
have
about
it.
this until the other day.
of course, it's free, I mean, it's a free event, anybody can come
Cool.
watch
That's
and.
that's one of them deals Dick shut down before we could get to it.
But it's one of the prettiest municipal parks in the state.
It is.
I haven't found one prettier.
It is, we don't disagree.
And has Jason Isbell confirmed on playing that Thursday?
We wish, we have, I do know his agent, I would,
Saw her
love for
this-
that to happen, but I
saw-
don't know if
saw her
that's
this
gonna
morning.
happen, so. Mhm.
I mean, she walks around town regularly, so
Yeah, yeah. This is what we had to submit to TVA for the River Heritage site. So this is showing the event locations and the food trucks we were gonna put around the circle. We'll have to have, of course, multiple sets of porta potties. We thought about we had to do a really great thing where they climb the poles and they put the flag poles on the poles, and it's a really good kind of ceremonial thing that they do, the linemen do. So we're gonna put it over here, we're thinking about putting the stage, so we have this whole area for the stage.
Where were the poles gonna be? You had to put-
So where all the circles are
Oh,
is where the poles would be. Mm-hmm.
I just think McFarland is just
I see.
so much
I
better.
see dots, yeah.
And then, putting, the teams all bring trailers, but, depending on how the weather is and how the grounds are that day. Putting the trailers here, if we couldn't, we'd put the trailers in the parking lot, so. So that was that, but we were gonna have to redo this.
Yeah.
This-
That's my concern with just that if we're going to do it, like he said, let's make it, cause we don't wanna be in you know, something just don't look good, I mean, feel like we can't do it right, let's don't do
Correct.
it. But Mac Farland would be great if we can make it happen.
Well, I think we got some resources we can call on to help us with the permitting too, so.
That will be good. We'll get a drawing to them, and then you asked about a budget, and so this is our current budget, and these are kind of itemized things that Florence is responsible for. So I got the rodeo yard, there's a 10 at each of the event locations, and so we're responsible for that and the stage. Of course, we're responsible for ice and coolers and water drinks, they're gonna be donated. Golf cart rental, they're gonna be donated. We'll have to do porta potties, we have to supply lunch for the workers, and this is what we talked about, Jimmy, a while ago, is we were looking at putting a radio station down there for the Friday, Saturday during the events, cause it's kind of a fun thing that they do, and they, you know, kind of, like we say, kind of carries the event on through, so. And
I
then.
say just figure out how involved you want the radio
Mhm.
station to be. I would, if I were you, go meet with them and,
We were gonna do that.
you know, if you want me to help you with
I might
that,
do that.
I'd be
Mhm.
glad to, but, I mean, I'll go with you to meet with them, and I do carry a little bit of weight with them,
Mm-hmm.
but, I think if you made them involved in it some way or another, the whole
Mhm.
3 days or 4 day, whatever it is,
Mhm.
you know, they'd probably give you a break on the price a little bit there.
So will there be kids at this event?
Oh, yes,
Oh, yeah.
there's actually a whole kids zone,
You
which
have
is a
to
benefit
furnish
to
the
having it
kids'
River
zone.
Heritage, because the kids zone's kind of built in, but.
You know, nothing can compete with the splash pad for kids. I mean, you
You're
can't
not
compete with
wrong.
that.
You're not wrong.
But there's all the competitors' children are there, so.
Yeah, and it's promoted as a family event.
Mhm.
Yeah, they usually have a bunch of inflatables. They have like she said, a kid zone, it's kind of roped off, and they'll have several inflatables. They had the little remote control bucket
Mhm.
trucks that they could put the kids in. Middle Tennessee had those.
They built them
And
themselves.
rode them around, you know, and
It was amazing.
They had
I spent months
what
on
was that? They had a semi come that had a lot of simulate stuff and let kids do like they're doing a backhoe and stuff. It is a very family event.
And normally they have a little pole, couple, like 3 or 4 poles set up for the kids to work on, cause you know, it's their dads that are out there doing this, and so they love getting on the pole and, you know, imitate what their dads are doing, so it's a super good event. And we met with police, fire, park and rec, and sanitation down there last week, and so they're aware of it, of the dates, and that's, the police is gonna have like a 24 hours monitoring of the site, so, which, you know, because people will leave their equipment there overnight, so that's something.
How does the insurance work on this event? Liability insurance? Is it something the city has to provide, or is it the association?
We have talked about that, and of course, each utility is responsible for their own individual people, but random people that come to the event, that's something
Just,
we'd have to ask.
well, maybe under
And I-
our that's probably an
I've heard
Andy
some
question.
discussion on that before at the meetings, but we'll ask that. We've got a meeting
In
in
August.
August.
We're going through this with handy stuff right now,
Mhm.
of having special event insurance for
Mhm.
Additional
location.
insured or whatever.
Yeah, I just, because to me, there's 2 areas there. One is the participants in the
Mhm.
event getting hurt,
Mhm.
and then spectators, trip and fall, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we'll ask that.
You have to sign, actually, the company
do.
has to sign off on the person before you kind of sign a waiver that, you know, you're participating. If you get hurt, it would be on like our insurance or.
So it's kind of like workers'
for
comp
the-
covers
right now,
them,
yeah,
presented
you're
them
right,
there.
For just
Well, not workers' comp, but
spectators,
just the
it's
regular
there,
insurance.
obviously, there'd be some kind of liability or something.
So why don't you do it similar to what we're doing with Spirit of Freedom? Just, you know, you got a year out or whatever, you just meet regularly and bring everybody in the room, be sure you talk about everything you need to. I mean, now with e-approval, we can, you know, have all the police stuff we need. Anything, if you're gonna have food trucks, you know, Ryan and the folks that fire department gonna wanna know, are all of them qualified? I mean, that's the kind of problem we've had with events. Some people don't understand. They bring in, food trucks and they don't have, their permits, all that with the health department. That way they can clear all that for you. I think e-approval's a perfect thing for a 3-day event. Just plug that in.
Familiar with e-approval that we're using? That's
We
pretty
plan to
good.
do that, we just
Yeah.
have got to nail down some things before we
Oh, yeah,
apply.
yeah, you gotta have everything in order before you put it in.
So, right now, we're looking total out of pocket, of course, with the poles, we do have to purchase the poles, but we'll reuse the poles, so that's not really expensive. We're looking right now about 46,000 is our cost to us, depending musical acts and so forth.
So what we as a city will we get back? I mean, other than, I know bigger than that, but income, will you get any income from?
We do not get any income for this. So the big sponsors are actually the rodeo itself sponsors, like the Tennessee Valley Lineman Rodeo is an organization, and they bring in the big sponsors and they help fund the rodeo itself. So we just have certain things that we're responsible for, but we will not be reimbursed for any of it.
As the host,
As a host.
yeah.
Mhm.
Is that in the utility budget yet, or will that be something we look at once everything's taken care of when we do a revision?
Well-
Or will that come out of general fund? What do
No,
you
it's
think?
all under electricity. We don't
Okay.
we can't cross those
Okay.
funds at all. So it's all under electricity, but it's not any capital, it's not a capital project, so it's not line item in our budget. So it's just, the money's in our budget,
So-
but it's not line item, you know what I mean? Cause it's not a
Like the
capital
poles that you
project.
recapture
So-
and use and
Yes.
such, okay.
The poles, what's the cost of the poles?
We're looking probably $25,000 for the poles, but like I said, we'll pull those and reuse them, so that's a wash.
I mean, that's an expense, but it's really not an expense.
It's
Right, so that's,
a
it's a credit on, it's an expense, but then I credited it,
Gotcha.
so, on my spreadsheet, yeah.
Well, Mary, I'm excited about this.
Man, I am too, I think it's gonna be an
So
awesome.
rodeo association too, they have a trailer that belongs to them, this is a rodeo, Tennessee Valley Rodeo. So we will get that trailer in the next month or two. They'll send it here and it's got a lot of material on it that we'll use, put up for the event. So the next person, they carry it to them and you keep it till you use it and then it goes on to the next host.
And one of the cool things is Huntsville is hosting that national APPA rodeo this year in Huntsville in March. And then we're I keep posting, we are hosting the Tennessee Valley one, so it's kind of cool that they're both right here, you know what I mean, in Alabama, so.
The APPA was a
National
nationwide,
one.
and it's huge event.
So
I think it's
the,
gonna be at the old
Joe Davis.
Joe
Stadium.
Davis Stadium.
Oh,
so the organization that's doing this is the what now?
The Tennessee Valley Lineman Rodeo.
So I'm sure they've got insurance. So I guess what
guessing.
Jimmy's saying is you just add us as an additional insured.
I don't know, when we have
We'll
we've
find
been
out.
meeting with them, been going to all the meetings for the last probably 2 years, and
This
so.
ain't their first rodeo.
This is not their first rodeo.
they'll have a-
So when we meet with them in August, that will be a question that we'll ask them about insurance, so. I'm guessing they probably have something,
Like they
I'm
got
pretty
some
sure
kind of
they
liability
do,
insurance
yeah.
to keep from getting sued
Yeah.
for something.
How many years has this rodeo, what year will this be? Do you have any idea?
98 is when it started.
What year?
98.
Okay, so 27 years.
And
I
it's,
So
remember
it's
Sam
28, be
coming to
28
church.
next year.
I remember Sam come to church, go, well, trying to get in shape for the rodeo.
yeah,
they actually named an award after us, and it's
They
called the
did.
Grit Award.
yeah.
And it's like a special award they give out not every year, but for a senior person that competes in the senior
Yeah.
events, just as a, all around,
Yeah.
grit person, so, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
When I was talking
I
with
sure
your
would.
guys,
I sure wouldn't want it to cross Sam.
No, Lord,
But I
no.
guarantee you Elizabeth had him wrapped around her finger.
Yeah.
was he,
Oh,
Staff.
God.
well, that's what they
Till
were
the day
talking
you die.
about, that, some of these cities have teams that practice year round.
Oh,
It look
they
like
do.
professional athletes when
They
they
are.
show up.
When you come and see them, you'll see that, so. But our guys do a great job, and like I said, they always, if we place, it's awesome. They just finished in 7th, and Billy and then Turner and Phillip were right behind them. I think 10th and 11th is awesome. And our 2 senior guys, I think they were 7 and 8 this year.
We're not, obviously not as big of a utility.
Correct.
And we don't have, so we can't, all in, like Middle Tennessee's got 300-something thousand customers. So they're obviously a lot bigger. They can set aside people and let them practice a lot longer. We have to just kind of practice on their own and practice a little bit here and there.
So when do you become a senior?
45.
You're a super senior.
45.
But I'm telling you,
45.
that some of those seniors,
They're in shape.
they're in the, I would rather
they
I would
are.
rather compete in the journeyman than get beat by,
This
they
year,
say,
before
one
I-
of the young punks
I
beat
played
and let,
senior,
60-something-year-old guy that they can still do it. Some of them can still go
They
just as
can.
fast.
Watching me try to come back down.
I'd rather say young punk beat me, some old guy.
So y'all gonna check on insurance and all that, have a meeting in August, is that,
We
Yes.
have a meeting with August with the whole rodeo committee, so
Yeah. That's their next meeting.
where's that? Is that,
in Middle Tennessee,
Middle
Murfreesboro.
Tennessee.
And repeat for me one more time, just because I want to hear it, the economic impact.
We're looking about $1.1 million.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
so we're looking at McFarland and
We
you
can
want
make that
to touch
happen.
base with them back at that.
I've already sent a text to
Now,
Bill.
we will have to go do a little figuring and get you some
We'll send it
GPS
to
location.
I told Bill to tell his guy to look at the driving range and the beach area, just to give us thoughts on both areas, but y'all decide which place, but, if the beach would work,
Yeah, it would be nice to have it right there.
my gosh,
That'd be tremendous.
Yeah.
you could have boaters sitting out there watching the event, so.
Well,
We'd
they,
have to have some of them down. It wouldn't all go right there, but we've
we've
got to
had,
have some.
we've had
down.
some people, a couple of ladies that, in our department that have been working the registration desk for 2 years at the events to try to get up to speed, because you want everything to go smooth when it starts
Yeah.
from the get-go. You don't wanna be
Yeah,
trying to make adjustments as you go along, and so, they've done a really good job, and
Are there fireworks involved at the end?
So we would,
Was one.
we won't,
so,
at the Marriott, we were talking about having the guy who does it on Sunday nights to do that. And I'm,
he's out.
we're gonna approach TNT and them about
Yeah.
donating some, but if we don't have it at the Marriott, I don't know that we can have, I don't think they'll let us have fireworks at McFarland without it being on a barge, so.
There's a lot
I
of
don't know if we
unique
can make
things
that
you can
work.
do with these events. You gotta think out of the box a little bit.
Now, if y'all could go ahead and relight O'Neill Bridge with lights we could color.
We have been working on that
wouldn't that be
for
neat?
2
I know
years.
you have.
And we have still not even got someone who really, vendor that wants to take it on, so. It's a big project and it's the right kind of lights, and Sheffield's Utilities has agreed to partner with us, and they'll do one side, we do the other side, and we just haven't got that.
Have we gotten permission to attach? Because I
We
heard
have-
that was the holdup at one time, wasn't it?
Well, that's,
We can't attach, we just can't attach anything, like we could
you can't drill a hole.
strap
in
it,
it.
it's gonna
Okay.
have to be strapped.
So you can
Can't-
clamp to it?
You
Yes.
clamp it. You can't drill a hole.
I personally don't want you to drill holes
No.
in that bridge.
And our light responsibility ends where the truss part ends.
Yeah,
And then it's from
On
there
both
on.
sides, both sides. Both sides, I mean,
north and
I
south?
always
You know,
heard that one way was ours and the other way
No,
was.
it's where the truss part ends.
So everything undercover
The
is
rest
us.
are separate.
well, Bill's got his text and he's went back, he's on it, so, anyway.
Well, we will get a drawing, and I'll send it to Alan South, because we'll have to submit it to Alan, and,
TVA actually submits it to me.
and then Derek will have to do whatever he has to do to, so we'll see where it goes.
All
I'll
right.
let y'all
Thank
know.
y'all.
Well, I'm excited about this.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I'm excited
We
about
are
it.
too.